Hi, I'm Kelly French. Some of you may know me due to some of the community events we have here at the Salvation Army in Manatee County. I'm here this morning with Major Thomas Richmond, who joined us in June, and we're going to talk a little bit about everything that's offered here at the Salvation Army. So Major Richmond, when I started working here, I lived 5 minutes away. I pass this building every single day, but I had no idea the amount of services that took place here every single day.
Yeah.
When I came in for my interview, I was amazed. Can you tell us a little bit about the services that are offered here on a daily basis?
Well, I would love to. Here on our address at 14th Street, we have not only a feeding shelter or a feeding location, but also a shelter for men and women, about 150 beds every night. Folks can come here for help with social services. We have a program here called Pathway of Hope, which takes it from just getting food or paying for a bill to helping the families that come to us every day with the basic needs that they're going to need, not just for today or the following day, but hopefully that will carry them through their lives.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit more in depth. Tell me about this feeding program.
Every night, Monday through Friday, starting I believe around 4:30 in the evening, folks start lining up. We usually serve about 200, 250 folks every night that come in for something to eat. Now, this is not exclusive to someone who is in a homeless position or might be passing through, but our neighbors here, if they need something to eat, they can come and get a nice meal. Every night, our chef and his staff work very, very hard to make sure that they leave here knowing that they've sat down to not just a meal, but they've sat down to a home cooked meal. And I love to watch the folks line up because they're coming with that expectation. There's going to be something different from the day before. It's not a hot dog Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but it's something different. This year, this week, they'll be receiving their Thanksgiving meal, which I'm not really sure because I wasn't here last year. I'm not sure how many folks show up for that. But what I understand is anybody that wants something to eat, all they have to do is come. You don't have to sign up. You just come, the doors will be open, and our volunteers will be here.
And there's never a charge.
Never a charge.
Yes. It's free to anybody in the community who needs it.
Yes, ma'am.
So, in addition to feeding, we have the shelter. Now, are these people who come for dinner the same ones who stay in the shelter?
Not always, no. Our folks that come to the shelter, they're also here, and they get fed a little bit later than the people who are coming in for their meal. Not that we don't mind folks being interactive with each other, but it's a little bit because of space. It's a little bit easier for us to do that. These folks that are in our program, they'll get a continental breakfast, they'll get a bagged lunch in the afternoon, and then a nice meal in the evening as well. They're eating the same thing, but it is really a nice meal.
Yes.
Bradley's a fantastic chef.
He is. I've had some of his food, and I've enjoyed everything.
Amen. Yes.
So we're happy to have him. So tell me about the shelter. How does this whole process work?
Well, the shelter comes different ways. We have a situation here called a hotbed that we work with the ambulance service, with the sheriff's department, and also with Bradenton Police Department. And if someone is on the streets that really wants to get out of the position that they're in other words, I don't want to be homeless anymore, I have an alcohol problem or a drug problem, and I would really like to get the help that I need, they can be referred to this program here. Not only do we have counselors here that can help them, but we also have, through the Sheriff's Department, we have counselors that will work with them to help them move through the process. That's just one of the programs. We have a VA program where homeless veterans can come and have a place. And then we have the men's shelter. The men's shelter it's not just a 3-day program in most situations. It's helping them to move forward with the help of trained counselors and a staff that cares. It's amazing to me when I go over and walk the halls and hear our men and our women in the different places call these folks by name and can have the backstory Not that they're being nosy or anything, but they know the people that come, and they care about them. We have a family shelter here, women with children at this point, but the kids come, they get their schooling, they have an opportunity to have a place that's dry. When they sleep at night, they're not on a mattress or in a car or on someone's couch. And the mothers bring them in here, and the women themselves come in here to be able to not get a hand out, but to get a hand up, and to move forward in their recovery, or to move forward in finding that job, finding that home, finding that place where they can say, this is mine. Yeah. And in most situations with them, it starts right here with the Salvation Army.
And then there's also a program for adult women.
Yes,
Wow.
There is. And that program in itself is, well, I don't want to say it's groundbreaking, but I will say for them, it's earth-shaking in many times, because when they come through the door, they have not been told that they're important and that they have worth, or that they're beautiful, or that someone cares for them. Because the Salvation Army is a faith-based organization, we make sure that when we speak to these folks, we speak to them not just in the kindness of man, but in the love of God, so that they understand that there's more to their life. They have been created in His image, and it is in His image that we want them to walk out of here and know that, man, they're children of God, and they're important.
And they're special.
Yeah. Very special.
Absolutely. Now, you also have an emergency shelter.
Sure.
For people who are in a crisis.
Right.
Would you say that oftentimes that is their gateway to entering one of our shelter programs?
Because they don't know what the Salvation Army has or what they offer, yeah. People come here because they're in a crisis position. They come in because the Sheriff's Department or a family member or someone at Winn-Dixie down the street said, hey, you can get help at the Salvation Army. And they come in not knowing really what they're going to receive, and then they see the plethora of these programs that are laid out in front of them, and it's like, man, I never knew. Yeah. And we hear that all the time. You know, the Salvation Army is recognized a lot at Christmas time with our Red Kettle program, yes, our Angel Tree program, and also in time of disaster. But when you think about the Salvation Army in itself, we're a 365, 24-hour, 52-week-a-year Army that just is not made up of folks like me and you, who are paid employees and pastors or officers, but we have probably close to 500-600 volunteers just in this community who come forward every time the call is given, and they're ready to stand there and help. And they're ready to make sure that things are better in the lives of the people who come through our doors.
Yes. That's the best part of working here, is knowing that we are touching lives day in and day out, making an impact, even if that particular day we don't see the impact, but knowing what that person is taking with them when they leave here, and we may learn the depth of that impact 10 years from now.
That's right. That's right. You know, my mom said to me one time when I was a kid growing up, and I was getting ready to go into my law enforcement career, she said, you know, if you love what you do and you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Yes. And never really dawned on me what that meant until I answered the call to become a Salvation Army officer, to work for people. I spent all those years in law enforcement going around looking for the bad in people. I've spent the last 30 years looking for the good in people, and I'll tell you, there's more good in people than there is bad. And when the world fully recognizes that and sees it, what a better place we're going to be.
Yes, absolutely.
So
going back to the services that we offer here at our campus on 14th Street, there's also a homeless prevention program and an opportunity for people to get caught up on their utility bills.
Right.
Would you like to explain that a little bit?
Probably about 12 years ago, the Energy Association in most states started bringing the cost of electricity up, some places exponentially. I was in West Virginia. It raised almost 46% over the previous year, and many of our
hit.
folks, many of our folks that were suffering were our senior citizens, because they're on a fixed income. They don't have the means in most situations, other than to go or to borrow more money or whatever. They came to us with the Salvation Army and started telling us their stories. And one of the things that we found was they were not paying for their medicines. They weren't taking the medicines that they needed because they would rather
Have the lights on.
exactly and have the heat
Have the
on.
heat. The air conditioning for those of us in
For
Florida.
those of us in Florida, exactly, we're dealing with these. So what we've tried to do with the Salvation Army through these programs is to make sure that we can help them to understand how to navigate these programs. There are government programs that are there. There are assistant programs that are there. There are also programs through other agencies that will help them to learn how to do a budget. If my wife asked me right now to take over the budget after all of these years, 43 years of marriage, it might be a little tough for me because I really don't check what's in the bank. Isn't that silly?
Well, she always takes care of it
She
for
always
you.
takes care of it. And that's what happens sometimes in situations where partners will separate, someone will die, and we just don't know.
Yeah.
It's there. We know it was taking place. We know it was happening. But because no one is taking care of it, they get behind.
Yeah.
So we try our best to make sure that we can put them in those positions to where they can learn, number one, how to do it. Number two, do it correctly. And three, if we need to assist with some funding, that's why we do fundraisings every year.
Yes.
And to make sure that people will have that money when they need it. And I wish we could help everyone. I really do.
Unfortunately, we do have to have qualification factors that we look at.
Exactly. So, but we're doing the best that we can.
Yes.
Did I explain it? I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Did I go
Yes,
too in
you
depth?
explained it very well. Better than I
Thank you.
could ever imagine. You talked a little bit about fundraising.
Oh my goodness.
We're entering the holiday season, which is the time where we receive most publicity normally because of the things we do.
Right.
We have the Angel Tree program, we have the Kettle program. Here in Bradenton, we're going to be giving away turkeys on Monday, November 20th.
Yeah.
We've received a donation of 500 turkeys that we'll be passing out at our Center for Worship. Do you want to explain to the viewers a little bit about how the Angel Tree program works first, and then why the kettles are so important to us?
Well, the Angel Tree program, let me put that on hold for just a minute. Since we are in Thanksgiving, and we can talk about that, the turkey program.
Yes.
Okay, if you think of the normal household within the United States today, I think it was like 4.5 people in a house.
Yeah.
Okay, that's about the average. If you take that and you multiply that by 500 turkeys, that's a lot of people
Yes.
that are going to be receiving the main portion of their meal. Now, some of those people who could come to us don't have a way of cooking it.
Yeah.
There we have the Thanksgiving meal that we invite everyone who wants to come within the community to come and to have a meal here. Those who can come and can pick up a turkey and take it to their families and feed them.
Can be cooked.
4.5 in every meal, or in every family. Just that number just blows me away.
It is.
That happens not because the Salvation Army goes out and buys those. It happens because the community comes together and says, we want to make sure that through the Salvation Army, our gift will reach. And we're just a conduit.
Yeah.
But we don't take that for granted either, because without them, we're not able to do the most good.
Exactly. 7 years ago when I started working here, it was October 31st was my first day. And November 1st, we put the sign up. We're now accepting turkey donations. And I remember being so impressed with how many turkeys were coming in every day.
Right.
We started keeping grocery carts in our lobby to take these turkeys and wheel them over to the kitchen. And I said, wow, this is a special community, because they care so much that they're dropping off turkeys. And not just one turkey. You'd see someone that would bring 2 turkeys, 4 turkeys. We've had businesses come in and bring 100 turkeys, and that really, really means a lot.
Yeah, it does. It does. You know, the Salvation Army's been in this community for over 100 years, and we've been doing Christmas for over 100 years. We've been doing Thanksgiving for over 100 years. You multiply that together by the number of people that we've served and been able to serve because of the generosity and the help of the folks here in Manatee County. It takes a village.
It does.
It takes a village, and the folks here have just stepped up so graciously and so wonderfully. And you know, that really is how most of our programs that we operate here. We operate on public funds. We do have some grants that come through, but they don't help us with our Thanksgiving. They don't help us with our Christmas angel tree program. 35 years ago, very good friends of mine by the name of Lieutenant Colonel Charles and Shirley White, Charlie, fabulous folks. They came together and they said, you know what, our Christmas program that we're doing is great, and we're really touching a lot of lives. But the partners within our community that want to help don't understand that they can help. Yeah. So a campaign was started basically over in Kentucky and Tennessee, and they went to the news media and said, look, we have angels, these young people that we adopt every year to help them. We need to help. The coffers of the Salvation Army at that point were very low in that area, and we want to make sure that we're bringing the joy of Christmas and can tell these families and these children what those presents really represent. Yes. And that's the love of Christ who came to us in the form of a little baby, the greatest gift we could ever imagine. And as that story was being told, somebody stepped up to the plate in that meeting and said, you know, what if we took and we put those angels on a tree and we stuck those in areas where they could be adopted? We're not asking for Xboxes and motorized bicycles and all of that stuff. We're asking that every child has an opportunity to sit down on Christmas Day and to unwrap a gift.
And something that's new and fresh and theirs,
and
not a hand-me-down.
Theirs. Exactly. It's theirs. I'm a fifth generation Salvationist. My parents were also Salvation Army officers. And when I was probably about 4 years old, they were stationed in a little town called Elberton, Georgia. And I'll remember this for the rest of my life. I'm 62 now. I'm not afraid to tell you that either. But I remember on Christmas Day, we got up and we had our Christmas breakfast, which wasn't great. It wasn't anything spectacular, but we were together as a family. And before we opened up our gifts, my mom came in and she said, we need to get ready. We've got to make a trip. And we got into the station wagon back in the days. Yeah. And as I'm sitting there, I'm surrounded by all these toys. I mean, it was amazing, and I could feel the coldness of the turkey in the bag, and you know, just the potatoes and everything else that were there. And I was in wonder. I was like, what are we doing? And off we went. And the farther we drove out into the country, I thought, yeah, we're going on a picnic, whatever. You know, 4-year-old mind. Yeah. And I'm pulling the toys close, and I'm looking at them, and you know, I hadn't unwrapped anything, but I'm looking at them. And we pulled up in front of this house. And it was one of those houses, we call them storm houses, where I come from, that are kind of raised up, and the cornerstones are just a field stone. Yes. And the frame of the house is there on it in the crawl space. And there standing on the front porch was a mother with 4 children. And we got out of the car, and we took those toys that in that hour's drive I had fallen in love with. We took those toys and we started walking towards the house. And the light that came on that woman's face, and the kids as they started to understand that Santa Claus didn't always wear a red suit.
That's right.
He was a 4-year-old little boy walking with his parents. And we came up and we handed those things over. Merry Christmas. And we hugged, and they went back into the house. I didn't realize, but I had delivered my first angel tree at the age of 4. And I look back on that every year, and I give thanks for what God has done. But this program with Angel Tree is similar to that 4-year-old experience in that people come in and they don't know these children that they're adopting. All they have is a first name, but they look and they see that Susie wants a baby doll that she can call her own, that she wears a size 3 jacket or a size 2 shoes, and that she likes white socks, and maybe she wants clean underwear.
Yeah.
And they can go to the store and they can purchase those and bring them in. Now, when they bring those gifts in, we try to supplement because we have toys that we collect and we do buy toys, and we make sure that that package goes out. When it goes out with a meal that the family can prepare and be a family for that day and celebrate that Christmas.
Yes.
Again, the village coming together to make sure that they have a Christmas that they'll never forget.
Yes.
Many of our folks that come to us and they tell me every year, you know, Major, when I was 5, when I was 8, my parents were on a bad time, and we were recipients of this Angel Tree program. Wow.
I've gotten that as well. Last year, I came into the office on a Saturday to take care of something that I didn't get time to do during the week. And there was a woman knocking at our door in the front lobby, and I went up, and she had these bags of toys. And she says, "Oh, good, I'm glad I caught somebody." When I was a little girl, I didn't know it, but my mom enrolled me in the Angel Tree program. And once I was old enough to learn that, I made a promise that when I was an adult and working and earning and making my own way, I was going to help other kids.
Yeah.
I'm a registered nurse now, and I'm sharing that blessing with others. I was all teary-eyed.
Yeah, you can't help but get choked up a little bit.
Yes.
If you don't, you're not human, you
No.
know. But the Angel Tree program, Charlie and Shirley, the Army had been doing it for many, many years. We just didn't have a name to it. We called it our Christmas, our drive, our toy drive, whatever it is. And it's amazing to me that to see that, again, the community come together. Motorcycle groups will do rides for us. You know, we work with other agencies, sometimes like Toys for Tots, with their toys, or we have toys that we will give to them to make sure that everybody has enough. And, you know, again, our fundraising program with our Red Kettle campaign, just yesterday. We were down at Florida, I can't remember.
Florida Underwater Sports.
Florida Underwater Sports. Greg and Bo and Chris and Allie and all of those guys down there. It just invited us to come in, and we did an awareness for the community. I put my uniform on, my dive gear on, and went to the bottom of the pool, and we rang for, you know, we rang with our paddles because you can't hear a bell underwater, but we rang for an hour, and the community came together, and we've raised, I think, over $22,000 to help our Christmas campaign move forward. People said to me, "It's unique. It's you know, it's different. Everything else, it is, but you know, at the same time, it's what the Salvation Army has always done."
Yeah.
You know, when the first Red Kettle went out, it was really to feed the people in the community, and they called it the soup kettle because we were putting food on their table. It went out on the wharfs when the guys were coming off the ship.
Out in San Francisco.
Out in San Francisco, and they would come through and they would put their money in the bucket, and that money would go back into the community just as it does now, to help feed and to help clothe and to help turn lights on all throughout the year. What a gift that you can give at Christmas time that doesn't pay just for one day, but as I said before, 365, 52 weeks out of the year, 24 hours a day.
One of the questions I get from donors all the time is, if I give you money, is that going to stay here in Manatee County?
Yes.
And would you like to talk about that a little bit more?
The Salvation Army over the last several years has been one of the agencies that it went from one point at like 98% of what's here stays in this area. I'm not really sure where it's at now.
In Manatee County, last year we were at 86%.
86%.
Yeah.
Now, that some of that fund goes to help us to do the job that we do
Yes.
here.
We do have to keep our lights on.
We do have to keep our lights on, exactly. But yeah, the funds that come here, we don't bundle it up. It doesn't go overseas. It stays here locally so that we can help the folks here to be able to have those basic needs met.
Yeah. And like you said, it's 365 days a year. Salvation Army used to have a tagline of "Need knows no season."
Yeah.
And I was very impressed with that tagline because it was a reminder that people are as hungry in July as they are in November or December.
Yeah. I don't know how many years ago it was when they started talking about public branding for your company, and those things came out. Need knows no season was one that just really blessed my heart more than anything. But then about 20 years ago, I guess it was, almost 25, we changed a little bit our tagline, and we started using doing the most good.
Yes.
And I knew the gentleman who actually got that phrase coined. And when I met him after that came out, I said to him, "Doesn't that seem a little bit self-serving? That we're the only one that's doing the most good?" And he said, "No, we didn't say that. What we're saying is that when folks come and they put change in, they can expect change out. Change into our kettles, they can expect change to come out into the community, that things are going to change because the Salvation Army is here." Again, I tell you, we've been here 100 years.
Yeah.
We right now, the Salvation Army is in 134 countries across the world. Here in the United States, we're in every city, either at a worship service, a command like ours that has a shelter and a homeless shelter and women's shelter and a feeding program, a worship center, or we have a service unit that's there where people can come in, be helped by funds that have been raised through the Salvation Army to turn your lights back on and so on and so forth. Every county, you can't throw a rock that you can't hit a Salvation Army something somewhere. So, which has been a very enlightening thing for me over the years. I said before, I'm fifth generation, and there was a lot I didn't know.
Yeah.
A lot I didn't know about what we do. And the reason I didn't is because I took things at face value. That's why programs like this, that we can give folks the opportunity to ask questions of us and to make contact with us and say, how can I help? How does my contribution help what the Salvation Army does? And where can I go to volunteer?
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was one of the things that I was going to talk about our volunteers and how people can get involved in some of the things that volunteers do for us.
We've got a fantastic director of volunteers here. Carolyn she's a firecracker.
She is.
The tenacity that she has. And that's an inside joke we'll talk about later. But amazing young lady. And I call her the Pied Piper, and I guess that's one of the best ways to do it, because when Carolyn stands up, and you've helped her a lot to understand what the Army does and her time under you as in your department, she can not spin something, but she can bring the truth out so that those who come in catch the fire that she has. Our volunteers help us all over the place. Right now, our Angel Tree program is going on, and our volunteers are in and out over there, getting the toys ready, putting the tables up, getting the bags ready to receive the toys, and to be ready to distribute them in just a couple of weeks. Our food kitchen, our advisory board chairman, Chris Williams, and Jenna, and Jenna's last name? Nelson, thank you. Here three nights a week.
Yeah.
Serving the folks as they come through. There are volunteers. It's not paid. They're here because they want to give. And that whole idea of a volunteer is doing something, not expecting anything in return. And that's the basic that's the definition, I think, in Webster's. One who does something not expecting anything.
In return.
So volunteers come. we try to show our appreciation to them. This year we bought the little challenge coins that we gave to them. And on the back of that challenge coin it says, doing the most good because of friends like you.
That sums it up, doesn't it?
It does. The friends of the Army coming and doing and making it happen because they care about their community and they don't really want anything in return. All they want is for someone to say thank you.
And a better community, and to be part of that.
Yeah, yeah. The best communities that you can possibly live in are where your neighbor cares about you.
That's right.
I moved here 5 months ago, and my neighbors came out and introduced themselves to me. It's just been amazing. You know, Tony and Barbara and Melanie and just Chris. You know, you don't get that in every community. But here in Manatee County, it feels like people really care. They
Yes.
want to know who you are. So I got off track there. I apologize.
That's quite all right. A lot of people don't realize that we have a church facility.
Right.
Our Center for Worship over on State Road 70, across from the Oneco Post Office.
Right.
Would you like to talk a little bit about the programs that take place there? Because it's not just a church, it's more than a church.
Yeah, it is. It's a community center. We offer during the summertime youth programs for children at a very reduced rate, where we promise the families that they'll know they'll be in a safe place and we'll be able to watch them, but we'll also get them involved. We work with our partners like Moat Marine. The kids do a wonderful journey where they go out and see the sea urchins and all the different things. We have our music programs that are over there right now. We have 4 young people that are learning how to play brass instruments before they even get into the school program. I could talk on that forever because that program in itself, we teach them theory, music theory. We teach them not only how to play the instrument, but also how to read the music in bass clef and treble clef in most cases, because your school programs mainly are bass clef for your lower brass instruments, where with the Salvation Army, they're all in treble clef, and our kids go over and they've already got an advantage in most cases because of the training that they've gotten there. Our Young at Heart program with our seniors, I love those folks because I am one of them now. They come every week and they meet for different programs, from line dancing to movie nights to bingo to whatever they would like to be involved in. We try to accommodate that and give them a safe place where they can come and get a meal and feel like they're part of community. And they are special. On top of that, we have all of our worship services, our Bible studies that's open to the public. Anyone can come, and it's an exciting place to be.
Well, thank you. I hope that helps everybody understand what we do. If you're interested in learning about more of our programs, if you want to adopt an angel, if you want to become a volunteer, please visit our website, which is www.salvationarmybradenton.org. Again, that's www.salvationarmybradenton.org, and it has information on all of these programs. And I'm going to throw in a quick plug about that summer day camp. April 29th, we'll be having a golf tournament to raise funds that will give scholarships to these kids so that their families don't have to pay full price or anything at all in some cases.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Hi, I'm Tom Richmond with the Salvation Army, and I just want to invite you to come and to assist the Salvation Army any way you would like to, whether it be through the gift of your talents or your treasures, or sometimes more importantly of your time. The Salvation Army has opportunities all over the place here in Bradenton County for you to make a difference in the life of your neighbors, your friends, and your family. And you can do this by just reaching out and letting us know, and we would love to have you. God bless you and your family. Have a happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas.